I started seeing all these crazy headlines saying that my grandfather was an acting boss of a crime family. He was facing life. And then shortly after, my father gets arrested and he's facing life. There was a lot of corruption within the FBI. You know, the problem with our government is they treat justice like a sales job.
Jackie, thank you for coming down today. I appreciate you taking the ride out. We've been friends for a little while. I think your story is going to resonate with a lot of people. Not the actual situation, but the energy around it and the family aspect of it. But we've been friends for a little while. We met through cupcakes during COVID, and then we've stayed friends all throughout. So it's the day I almost quit. Right now, for you and your story, the thing that resonates with me the most with this topic is your mission to get your grandfather out of prison. Your grandfather was incarcerated how many years ago?
It's 35 years ago.
35 years ago. For people who don't know, your grandfather was Little Vic and was locked up. And I'm going to let you you give all the details, but you were how old at the time?
9.
You were 9 years old. Your grandfather goes away. Had he been away at any point in your life up to 9 years old? Had he been away before that?
For me, that was the first time I remembered. My grandfather did get in trouble in the 70s, and it was because he refused to talk to a grand jury.
Got it.
So they gave him a perjury charge, which was, minuscule. And then fast forward to the 90s, all of a sudden, as a 9-year-old girl, you know your family being the most loving, safe space in the world. People see news clippings and they have their perspective. But for me, I wish they could look at my home videos. You see a completely different side of people for who they really are. So for me, I had such a great, close-knit family. I still do. And I started seeing all these crazy headlines saying that my grandfather was an acting boss of a crime family and that he was facing life. And then shortly after, my father gets arrested and he's facing life. So as a young girl, you don't know what to think or believe because these are your heroes.
Right.
And then you're reading papers and you're like, how this can't be true. There's no way this is an accurate perception. And then fast forward 35 years, as I started to get older and look into the case and really read into details and read documents, and you realize that you were right all along.
Had anybody been doing that all along, really trying to
so what
go
happened
in deep and figure out that he was... So just explain to me, you're saying was he wrongfully convicted? Was he put away in a way that was unjust? What is the angle you're taking on it to say the way this whole thing went down was not really proper?
So there's a lot of layers here, and it's hard to just, grasp. You try to even do a podcast, and it's like people don't really get the gist of it. The point is,
we could go as long as you want. There is no, I don't cap out in an hour, and we could talk as long as you want to talk.
Okay,
so
great.
Figure it out.
We'll be here all week.
I'm sure you've done podcasts before, and then you walked out and you went, I forgot this part. So just give it to me.
Well, there's usually question and answer, and yes, you don't want to go on forever. But for the short end of that part is, one, in the newspaper, they were saying he's an acting boss and he wanted to get power of a crime family. So that's the first point that I discovered was inaccurate.
Right.
The second part is that he created this whole war on the streets, also inaccurate. So I'll go into certain details of each piece if we can. But then there was another piece where there was a lot of corruption within the FBI, which people don't believe because they think this is our government, this is whatever. So there was corrupt prosecutors, corrupt FBI agents. There's documents to prove it.
When your grandfather got arrested, what I'm remembering, they took a bunch of guys all got arrested at the same time.
Yes.
It was your grandfather, an underboss.
So a lot of people got arrested, and then there were, extra cases that came out after, all for the same thing. So there
Right.
was war cases going on, and my grandfather was on one. Then there was the next one. My dad was also, and my uncle were
So you're
indicted.
9. Had your dad been away before that?
No,
Dad was never away.
No.
Your dad was home until you were 9 years old.
Yes.
You're not realizing that. But now, when you look back, how long into the process do people start to now just start flipping and trying to clear themselves, which at that point was a new energy in that world.
yes.
That was the code. We don't.
So
Nobody says anything.
the thing that's crazy about that is there actually were informants on the street that people didn't know about, right? And the government hid them for many years.
Right.
We have informants that went back since the FBI started, okay? We just didn't know about it because the FBI protected.
They would have never done it publicly on a trial.
Yes.
They stayed behind the scenes.
But in the incident of, they have top echelon informants, which are people and CIs that are, basically hidden. They get to tell their story. And what we learn now is the FBI would use a confidential informant or a CI to write a 302 or a document or ask for wiretaps or things of that nature. And these people might not have existed or might not have been telling them any information. So we have like Greg Scarpa, who is a very famous informant. One of the FBI agents would go to a federal judge and lie
And
to the
Scarpa
judge.
was involved in your grandfather's case, right?
So Greg Scarpa name was used to go to an FBI to a federal judge. The FBI agent would say, "Hey, Greg Scarpa gave me information on this. We need a wiretap." And the judge would say, "Okay, here you go." Greg Scarpa never said that. The federal informant was not giving any information because he was not privy to that information. And then the FBI agent would lie to a federal judge, and the federal judge would grant them illegal wiretaps. So that's the first step of, we do have civil rights and liberties where you can't just wiretap people and put them on surveillance unless there's, a reason behind it. So they don't have my grandfather saying anything on a wiretap that he's doing time for. So even though they obtained illegal wiretaps were not used in his case to convict him necessarily, but other people, yes. So, there's a bunch of things that are just so wrong here.
Did he have really good representation? Was his team really
So my grandfather
solid?
had great lawyers, but
Right.
the problem was the FBI was hiding all their dirty tactics at the time. By the time my father's case came and the other people, that information then came to light. So my grandfather did not understand that Greg Scarpa was an informant at the time. Had he known that Greg Scarpa was an informant and that he was working with the FBI and that the FBI was dirty and that, the prosecutors were lying and they were hiding information, he would have gotten acquitted just like the 24 other men that were acquitted after him. So this information, once it came out, not one person went to jail for the crimes of this so-called war. And we have 4 federal judges, 48 jurors that all said the FBI was wrong. It's scary. I mean, I have quotes. They're saying it's scary how our government and our FBI and our prosecutors acted in this case. So these men were acquitted, but people don't realize as soon as my father got the acquittal and my uncle got the acquittal and they said these men are innocent, you think, oh, they're just going to overturn the case. It's not the way it works. So
what was the actual charge that they ended up getting him on that he
conspiracy. So RICO is insane. You can conspiracy to this, conspiracy to that. So some rat who goes on the stand and says, well, Vic Orena did this. These people never been in a room with him. They don't know him, never had a conversation with him. They could say whatever they want. And what we know now about the FBI, because there's other informants that came out, the FBI handpicks which person they want to use for what story. So in the case of, some of the informants that they used, they gave information that would say, put my grandfather away. The next informant gives information showing that my grandfather's innocent. So the FBI says, well, we don't want to overturn that conviction. Throw this guy away. Then they say, oh, this guy's saying something that contradicts the first rat story. Can't use him either. So they're not looking for justice or truth.
Yeah, they're looking
for convictions. And, the problem with our government is they treat justice like a sales job. It's about sales or convictions, not about truth and justice. And I think that's where we go wrong here. There's tons of men that are wrongfully in prison. And we also have a justice system that's giving these people insane sentences, like 3 life sentences, when a man did not commit a murder, does not have physical evidence, is not caught on film doing anything, is hearsay. And you're taking the testimony of the most morally corrupt individuals, informants that have murdered dozens of people with their bare hands. My grandfather was never accused of doing any of those things.
Yeah, for them though, the headline when they get to post that this suspected boss is going away, the FBI looks like
Yes.
superheroes.
But you got to think of it this way too. They say boss. So in their theory, oh, well, if he's the boss, then he's telling everybody else what to do. Okay, so let's take my grandfather out of the equation. If Agent Del Vecchio, who's the FBI agent handling someone like Greg Scarpa, was his boss, and Greg Scarpa is out there killing hundreds of people.
Right. Then the agent
Who should
is the
be
boss,
responsible
right?
then?
Are any of these guys? Are any of these agents? Have they ever spoken? You ever
They write books. They make money off of it.
The agents.
They brag about it on podcasts, how they were involved with all these people. They get to tell their story. They get to retire. They get to keep their pension. And they get to stay home with their family. However, they're more guilty of crimes that my grandfather and other men are serving time for. Okay? So as a child, who watches their family members go to jail, feeling helpless every day because with all the evidence that comes out, you still can't help this person. Fast forward 35 years, okay, getting denied compassionate release time after time.
What was the reason that they would come? He can't be a danger at that point. He's not a danger. How old is he right now?
Right now, he's going to be 92 in August.
Right, so clearly he's not a danger to society.
He has dementia. Right. He's in a wheelchair. He's blind from glaucoma. He has diabetes.
Do you get to visit him?
He's in heart failure. So I can visit him. The problem is now in his condition, the dementia's so bad, he gets confused. He thinks he could leave. So you have this man come down in a wheelchair. He cannot use a restroom. He can't stand. You have to feed him. If he needs to use the bathroom, it's,
right.
He's in such poor condition. And then he doesn't understand where he is. And he says, can you take me home now? Pull the car up front. It's like leaving a toddler in daycare.
Yeah.
So it's harsh on him with his mental condition.
Horrible on you.
I've been going through this since I'm 9. At first, it was ripping me out of a visiting room, leaving my father and my grandfather behind. And now I'm an adult, and I feel like, when does that stop? This man does not know where he is. He doesn't know what he's being punished for. So who's serving the life sentence?
Was there any points throughout his incarceration, throughout the years, where you thought, oh, this is going well, I think we're going to get him out? Like, you're
always hopeful. And you always hear new information.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about like false family hope. Where I'm talking about where the lawyers were like, I think this is really going to work.
Yes, all the time. Yeah. Every time I file for a compassionate release, or there's that new piece, or his health declines, or there's a new opportunity, or new information comes out. There's tons of new evidence that came out. There's tons of new information that wasn't even presented in his first appeal. But you have to understand too, it costs probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to get good representation, right? So when we kind of exhausted that, then you depend on hope. And I have to be honest, we are so lucky and blessed that someone like, I have lawyers in the Italian American Civil Rights League that helped me. I have a lawyer, David Schoen, that's represented our president, that is, doing this from the kindness of his heart and applying for a compassionate release and trying to fight for us. It's very difficult. So I could understand why people give up so easily. But after 35 years, a lot of people quit after 6 months fighting for their family. They think it's hopeless, and you could see it. Every denial, sometimes you do want to go home and cry and say, do I just stop?
Yeah.
But there's something in me that there's a reason that I developed the relationship I did with him. There's a reason why with the dementia, he started leaning on me more, and we have a different kind of relationship. He'll joke around sometimes, and he might not even know my name some conversations. And the one thing he'll remember is when he gets on the phone with me and he hears my voice, he'll say to me you're really my daughter, right? you always fight for me. You never give up. You're always trying.
Yeah.
And he never forgets that. So even with the dementia, it's to me
That's a cool thing
that
for you, though.
till the day he dies, and even further, till the day I die, I'll never stop fighting for him and the justice.
Are there any cases, any precedents that's been set where health, age, and they actually release
Yes.
people out?
Yes. So all the time, people are let out, even in their 50s and 60s, saying, oh, well, they have this condition. My grandfather is the poster boy for compassionate release. He checks off every single box. But because of the corruption with the prosecution and the FBI, the judges refuse to give him that compassion.
Listen, I get it. 10 years after the conviction, I get it. If you let him out, you're making these agents and you're making it look right. At this point, those guys got to all be dead, right? The guys that put him away,
They still have their ties in. And what people don't realize is the government corruption is so deep that a judge from 35 years ago, who has long passed, puts in a statement and these men stick by it. Or there's prosecutors that, because of these false convictions, climb the ranks. You have someone like Andrew Weissman, who's a name in the news all the time. This man, corruption has followed him throughout his career. He's falsely put people in jail his whole life, but it helped him climb the ladder. Okay? And he still has power in these courts. The Eastern District of New York, if you speak to any judges or, lawyers or people that know their way around there, they know the corruption's real. They'll have these conversations with me on the side, but when it comes to speaking out loud, they know their job's at risk. They know that they look like snitches of that space if they come forward and say that they were in cahoots or they worked together or they knew this. I'm reading testimony from different informants that will actually say this informant murdered somebody, but somebody else is serving a life sentence for that murder. You have a rat admitting that they killed these people, and the FBI and the prosecutors will let somebody else serve time for it.
Yeah, well, they're all admitting it now on their own podcasts.
Yeah.
A lot of these cats are.
Well, you know what? I have like my whole anti-ratting thing, and it's not about, people think it's like, because of street code and this, that, whatever. I'm a civilian. I'm a normal person. For me, I know the character of most of these people that are informants, okay? And they were the most vicious people in the world. And they probably would have never changed. And a lot of times they do commit crimes. I mean, you see people reoffending all the time, getting themselves in trouble, hurting more people, and then they go on a podcast and they're selling merch and they're telling stories, and people are like, wow, these are the greatest stories,
Yeah.
and they're clapping, but it's fiction.
The problem is people love Italians. This is not even a joke. People romanticize Sopranos, Godfather, Goodfellas, even down to the Jersey Shore. Like, we've become the Italian culture has become a thing where these guys are almost like cartoon characters now of what they were on the street.
Yes.
And people eat that shit up. I'm not going to say any names, but
Yeah.
the over-goonification of Italian shit on social media
Yeah.
with the how you doing, all this.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous at this point, but it gets crazy views. People
that's the
love
thing. It's very cringe when
Yeah.
you're an Italian person who acts like a professional or does all these things. But I'm going to be honest, like, I'm part of the Italian American Civil Rights League, and a lot of it is veering away from stereotypes
Did
and
they
this, that, whatever.
Did they approach you, or you seek them out?
So what's crazy about that? Like, doing podcasts, I put my story out there, and I've connected with people that I knew, or people approached me, and just knowing how aligned we are, and then even culturally, like the history of the Italian League and how it started with Joe Colombo and the shooting. And the crazy thing is, the ties between Joe Colombo's story, even with my grandfather, there's a few things that are in common if you trace those stories back. We have Greg Scarpa, okay? So we have the same informant that was involved with the shooting of Joe Colombo and the setup of my grandfather. We have the same agents, which was Agent DeVecchio, who got involved back with Scarpa then, and he was trained by Villano, who was Scarpa's first handler. We have all this stuff that's like a weird coincidence. Now we have a movie coming out about Greg Scarpa, and it ties him to Mississippi burning and COINTELPRO.
Is it a movie or a documentary?
It's a movie with Mark Wahlberg.
Playing him?
And here's the problem. I'm seeing all the trailers now, and they're kind of making it to be...
Oh, I've seen it.
Yes. So they're making it
so
to
Wahlberg
be...
is Scarpa in that trailer?
Yes. And the way that I'm seeing the trailer is they're trying to portray him as a civil rights hero.
Right.
Okay?
He almost comes across in the trailer as a mob guy himself. He almost looks...
Yes. So he's a mob guy.
Right.
He's a mob guy.
But that's almost how I saw the... I didn't realize that's who that was.
So it's Greg Scarpa, the informant.
Yes, I got it.
So when you're watching it and you see that they have this FBI agent that he worked with that's African American, and they're trying to make it like, he was such a, villain that helped civil rights. The truth of the matter is that African American character is false, right?
So that doesn't even exist?
That does not exist, okay? And
that's why I didn't even make the connection when I'm watching it.
So the way that media works, and this is part of my frustration, you have news, you have movies, they try to portray people in a different light so that people might say, wow, this guy was somewhat of a hero.
So is this based on a book he wrote?
This is based on Greg Scarpa. Well, so there's a few books about this.
Got it.
But the thing about that is, for somebody who saw the dark side of that, we know that Greg Scarpa killed hundreds of people, right? We know that he kind of manipulated the FBI agent, and the FBI agent used him. We know that the FBI agent was making street money, and we know that Greg Scarpa was making FBI money. So to now portray it as the civil rights hero, when we know that that's not the case.
He's alive? Scarpa's alive?
He died. He died of AIDS because he did not, if you look up Wikipedia, it'll tell you that he refused to take blood donors' blood because he didn't want to get blood from an African American. Okay, so he ended up taking blood from his friend and ended up with HIV.
Really, that's how they say he got it.
Yes. So here's my thing: a movie is going to now portray him as this hero. That's a problem. That's a problem because now we're warping the truth and we're making it. Listen, I don't care. Make any movie you want. Do what you want. Okay. People are getting misinformation all the time, right? But for me, I know the truth. The truth is the FBI was corrupt. We have Hoover that created COINTELPRO. He also created an overlapping program that was the top echelon program. They bent the rules, they bent laws, they let people commit murders, they let their FBI agents get away with anything. It was by any means necessary, which happens to be the name of the movie, that they went to convict people, let these agents do the dirtiest work, commit crimes, and let top echelon informants just bend the rules and do whatever they wanted. This is not justice.
Yeah, well, the informants were given this leeway because without the informants, these guys had nothing.
But it's also not the truth.
No, I get it.
So we take informants, we use them for what we need. But what about the informants that are giving information about the informants?
Yeah. What the agents didn't realize was you were dealing with professional lifetime criminals. And they're going to manipulate you. You could be an agent, but they're going to manipulate you in a way you're not even prepared for. These guys were street professional criminals, and they knew how to manipulate the situation.
Well, these people weren't even loyal to their own blood.
Right.
They would backstab their own family.
What year was it that your grandfather got arrested?
92.
So is that the whole Giuliani movement to wipe out? So is Giuliani in office at that time? No.
Yeah, so it was part of that whole RICO and everything. They started using that against Italians. I mean, what they really should be using RICO against is these organizations like the FBI. They should be using RICO, because all of them are committing conspiracy charges. I have proof on this agent, and
they should be using RICO charges on putting gambling websites on during a basketball game. That's what they should be fucking doing, because that's the biggest organized crime.
Listen, when it comes
kids,
from the government, it's
kids,
okay.
Yeah, so you're watching the Knick game, and you're putting the gambling odds on. I remember having to call my bookie from the payphone on a Sunday morning and put a bet in. And then every Monday...
Because it's not a crime unless they're making their cut. Do you understand that?
Now everybody's got their hand in it.
As long as the FBI, the government, the whatever, they have their tax, their cut, they don't care. Okay. But as soon as listen, even with what Italians were doing years ago, okay, you have to understand all these crime family names and all this stuff doesn't come from Italians. You think Italians are sitting around going, hey, buddy, oh, you want to be this group and sit around? It doesn't work that way. The FBI sees a bunch of guys hanging out together. It could be me and you, and we could come up with an idea and say, hey, we're struggling with this. How do we deal with this? How do we help each other in business? You can't get a loan, I can't get a loan. You can't get a job. They're helping each other out as a community. And the FBI starts going, they're all hanging out together. He looks like he's in charge. Let's give him this name. This did not come from people, coming up with these concepts. And then they glorify it. And you have all these young kids, especially people today, that want to belong to something. Okay? And they start acting on their own and doing all these things and trying to act like goons, as we call them. You have chooches left and right playing the part. And it's just not what it is.
How romantic as a kid for all of us was it to watch The Godfather? It was almost...
You know what's funny? I don't watch, and people will bring it up all the time. I didn't watch The Sopranos. I didn't watch half of these mob movies and things.
You had to have watched The Godfather though as a kid. I didn't watch it even. Just it was on.
Yeah, and I would flip the channel.
You had a different relationship to it. For me, it was so familiar. Like I would watch it and go, "Oh yeah, that's."
But you have to understand, Italian people, culture in itself, we're very family oriented. We're loyal. We are like that with our inner circle.
The beauty of The Sopranos, and I did watch it, and I'm a huge fan of the series. And what makes it so appealing, which a lot of these movies don't do, Tony was the most notorious, disgusting, really, murderer, murdered family member. You thought maybe he did. They actually showed him, and we loved him.
Yeah.
They made him so endeared and so damaged. We all related to going, oh, he's having panic attacks too. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm having panic attacks too.
They make it relatable.
They made him, his wife, Carmela, the kids. You felt like,
you're seeing an inside view.
We're the
of
same.
Something that
they made him so likable and lovable that you rooted for the guy, the most notorious.
And that's what they do with a lot of these informants that are, selling their podcast and their story. They tell a story and there's no one else to tell the truth. So they're telling these stories and they all make themselves seem so tough and they were in the middle of every room. And real life is not like that.
Well, yeah, they've told that story so many times now that's true.
But to them.
Now it's true.
Yeah, and then the problem with that is too, there's no one ever going to tell the other, portion. So I listen to podcasts all the time and I have to because sometimes you get bits of information where you're like, oh, okay, I could tie this piece together and figure some truth out there. But you hear some of these stories and you're like, this guy is saying he knows for a fact that my grandfather did this and my grandfather did that. And then I'll go back and say, hey, Dad, do you know this guy? Were you ever in a room with him? No, he was never around our family. He never was there. Okay, so where would he get a story from? An informant, another informant, or whatever. Where'd that informant get his story from? Greg Scarpa. The truth is never out there. The truth has never been told. So for me, listening to all of this, and it's not my story to tell. I don't know facts. I didn't live it. All I could tell is from what I read on court documents, from what I know. And it's not the truth. And people are buying it because it's a persona they're putting out there.
Your dad got arrested right around the same time as your grandfather?
So my father was arrested right after, yes.
Did he do time? Did he go away?
He did time because they hit him with 4 charges. And he was facing life on 3 of those charges. And another one, he took a plea.
So how long was he gone for?
10 years.
Your dad was gone for 10 years. So you went from 9 to 19,
yes.
10 to 20 without your dad around.
Yes. So the most crucial time, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't know at the time because, today's world, you, find all these things out about yourself. You could, self-diagnose. You have, I had terrible learning disabilities as a kid, and I just thought I was stupid.
Did you have them before he went away?
Yes. So I had them, growing up. Everyone said it was separation anxiety. I was very close to my father. He was my safety. Yeah. I didn't realize at the time that my anxiety and all of these things were chemical. I just thought it was related to whatever stress. Yes. Yeah. So as my dad was all this was happening, it happened to be around the same time that I started having panic attacks, and I would run to my dad and be like, Dad, I'm going to die. I don't feel good. I don't know what's going on. And it would be serious episodes. I would get to the point of like vomiting and, I didn't know what was going on. And he would just be like, it's okay. Nothing's going to happen. I got you. Sure enough, shortly after, the FBI comes to my house and takes my father out of the house.
You're living on Long Island at the time?
Yes.
So you in the Five Towns? Where
So
are you?
I'm in North Woodmere, okay? We probably were the only Catholic family even in the town at that time. So forget it. When the FBI comes to your house and they got like 20 agents outside and all these cars pulled in every direction, every single neighbor was lined up outside, okay? And I'm told...
Were you home when they came?
Yes, and I'm told, walk to the bus stop.
Was your dad home?
Yes.
You saw him getting taken out of the
I
house.
saw them coming to the house, and I was told to go walk to the bus stop with my backpack. And my mom's like, go to school. I'll come pick you up in a little bit. So now here I am, the anxious child that I am, walking
Sitting
to a bus
school.
stop, watching everybody on my block, watching what's happening
How
at
many
my
siblings?
house. I'm one of 5.
So 5. You're where in that?
I'm the second oldest, and we're all 2 years apart.
Okay, so
you have a 10, an 8, and a 6.
Got it.
So we're just...
Everybody's little.
Yes.
Everybody's young.
Everyone's young.
All right, so you go to school. Your dad goes away. Mm-hmm. He gets sent where? Where is he?
So while he's waiting for his trial, they have him in MCC, Manhattan first. Then they ship him to MDC in Brooklyn. He was in Valhalla.
So Manhattan, you're allowed to visit. How often you guys?
So we would go once a week to go visit my father.
The whole family would show up.
At that point, we would have to take turns. I don't know how many people were allowed on a visit at a time, so we would have to take turns. But let me tell you something.
What was he finally sentenced? How long was he sentenced to?
He took the plea and he got 10 years for that.
Got it.
And then he got the acquittal on that other case that he was facing life. So, but with the first thing you have to understand too, you're going on a visit. Everyone thinks like, oh, well, at least you get to see him. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you what it's like as a 9-year-old girl who has severe separation anxiety, panic disorder. You're going through a prison. They're checking to make sure you have nothing on you. You're treated like, then you go through the first gate. Then you go through the second gate. They're stamping your hand. You're putting it under a light so they make sure you're the same person walking in. You then go into a little box of a room. You then see your loved one, your favorite person on earth, behind a glass, handcuffed. You see them remove the cuffs, put them in the room. You could sit there. You can't hug them. You can't sit on their lap. Yeah. You can't do anything. You have to pull out snacks out of a little box and wait online and give it to them like it's the greatest gift you're going to give them. And then you have to say goodbye. And they want to make you watch them behind the glass, get recuffed, and now you're dragging a 9-year-old out who's now crying, screaming that they have to leave their father behind those, bars, and then you have an hour drive home with your siblings just feeling that. Like people think, oh, it's a visit, they're there, at least you could see them. It was probably the worst memories of my life.
Yeah, I had an uncle Pete Martell. The last name was Martello, and they changed it up to Martell. They thought they were going to fool. They thought they were going to fool people. We're going to take the.
He's like, hey, no, I'm Martell.
I'm Martell, yeah, and I'm a Jew from the city, yeah. So he went away, and my aunt and my mom used to take me to see. We would go.
Yeah.
And they were slick, my mom and my aunt, because I didn't know. I was little. I probably was like 6 or 7, and they would say, your uncle works for the government and he's undercover, but he pretends he's a prisoner. So he's going to come out. We have to all pretend he's a prisoner. I'd be like, oh, okay, He would come out and he would give me like, I'd be like, and I remember going to visit him in jail. And I can't imagine doing it knowing. And knowing it was, and it
that's
was my dad. Like that's my dad seeing him. So 10 years, your experience has to change. Now, what was the furthest they sent him? Where did they send him?
So basically, in his plea, he did write. I mean, listen, a few of my siblings, we all had, disabilities and panic disorders and stuff like that, and separation. So my brother was struggling. I was struggling. Psychologists were writing letters and asking that they keep him somewhat close, because of the fact that he has 5 kids.
So did they do you the favor, or they sent them?
So the judge said, we would keep him in the the Northeast somewhere. And he signed his plea, and immediately they sent him to Leavenworth, Kansas. So that was like another,
Yeah,
hey, fuck
you.
you,
Yeah,
and fuck your
you.
kids. It's hard. My mom was
Then how often
30
would you
years
go?
old with 5 kids, and you can't afford to go to.
The superhero of the story really is your mom holding that shit down for
Yeah,
10 years.
listen, I don't know how she did it because we're 5 kids. We all had our shit. We
Yeah.
were, losing our minds, and our father was everything. And I have to say, as soon as they shipped him away, I had severe anxiety. I couldn't go on a plane. Okay, I could not sit on a plane.
Did you go?
I never saw my father from age 12 to 19.
You never went.
I couldn't.
You couldn't. How far a drive? What are we talking?
10 hours.
Right.
My mom wasn't driving there.
Did anybody?
They did.
They went. You didn't.
I couldn't go. I couldn't get on a plane. I was petrified of a plane. Okay, and this is before Xanax or any of that stuff.
Do you go on planes now?
Now I do, but I'll tell you, I have to take something, and I still get an occasional panic attack.
Is it the fear of just being on the plane or the enclosed space?
For me, when I was young, I thought I had the fear of just throwing up. I thought it was emetophobia, and I had this weird irrational fear
that the plane was going to make you throw up.
That I was going to throw up. So cars, anything that could make you throw up. I even developed an eating disorder because of it. I was like, okay, most people get sick from chicken or seafood. I stopped eating everything completely. I would eat bread, cold cut, like things I thought were safe. Okay. But I didn't realize at the time it was just, all obsessive. Like it was just me allowing all of this anxiety to take over. I've done a lot of discovery over time, figuring it out, but I didn't know. I didn't know that I was like, AUDHD and all this other stuff. I didn't know. In school, I just assumed I was stupid until I got to high school and they did all this evaluation on me. And they did these testing and they said, it was funny because I scored really high on the IQ test. And they bring me in and I'm like, okay, finally, I'm going to have some answers of what's going on. They were just like, you just don't put effort in. You don't want to do homework. You don't want to do this. I would sit in class and certain teachers sucked. They would go, oh, get to assignment 5 by this time. And, you could go out and play for recess. My brain would sit there and go, oh my God, I have to get to assignment 5. I'd read a question. It could be 2 + 2. And I couldn't answer it. My brain would start thinking of a million other things. So I didn't know that was ADHD because I was calm on the outside. They just thought hyperactive kids, but my brain was going blah, 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 blah. So I couldn't even answer one question. And every day in 3rd grade, my teacher made me sit in the library and watch every other kid play. And I was so ashamed. I thought I would go home and my mom would yell at me like, you didn't do your homework, you couldn't get to this assignment, so I wouldn't tell her. So I sat tortured for the entire 3rd grade sitting, watching other kids play when I just needed help and tools and,
Did somebody finally figure out diagnosis?
No. So throughout school, then I got behaviorally bad because I was like, fuck this.
Yeah,
I'm so stupid and I don't care and fuck homework and fuck teachers and fuck everything. And one day they sat me down and they just thought the behavior was like a psychological thing. They're
Which would make sense. I mean, this kid's going through it.
Yeah, they said, oh, her dad's away. She's just, misbehaving and whatever. And they sat me down, did all this testing, and it came back that I had a way above average IQ. So the psychologist calls my mom in, and I'm thinking, I did good on a test for the first time. They sat her down and said, well, we think she's manipulating us. She scored so high that she's using this anxiety as an excuse. It's not real. So do you know what that was like? And I'm like, no, it's real. It's real. So a lot of it came with like self-diagnosis and figuring things out and learning how to maneuver, because once I realized that it wasn't just a learning disability. Yeah, I can't read things and retain it. But I started learning, okay, well, if I do an audiobook while reading, I'll retain. If I learned different skills, and then it felt like a superpower.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I could do, like I could hyperfixate on things where certain people might, they're not paying attention to anything. I had the idea with my grandfather's stuff. Let me build a website. I sat down for 4 hours and built an entire website. I never built websites before.
Yeah.
So you have certain advantages and disadvantages.
So the whole attention deficit thing, they talk about it like it's a sickness, right? So I've definitely I've never been diagnosed with anything, but what they were selling in school, my whole school career, I was not buying. Like, I was never interested in that product.
Yeah.
They would pitch me, like, the only thing that ever got my attention and I could stay focused on was art. And was it my fault? I don't know. Maybe I just I couldn't keep myself. But if on a day there was something I was interested in, I was hyper focused.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop thinking about
So they
it.
think it's
all I thought
selective.
about.
So they believe in their heads that that's like selective. You're doing it on purpose.
But I think that's a superpower.
It is.
For you to get so focused on something you love, that's a gift. That for me, that was a gift. That's what made me the artist I am, the musician I was. That's what's made me.
Because you dive in all in.
Yes. My friends from high school asked me about, I've mentioned this before in a podcast. Yo, remember that teacher we had in 11th grade? And I go, no. They go, you don't remember him? We had him the whole year. I go, I don't remember him. And I think, how sad. I had the guy for a full, and he didn't say one thing in a whole school year. And we're not talking about third grade. All through elementary school, I remember all those teachers. High school, that guy didn't say one thing, one encouraging word, I don't even remember his name. And it's probably my brain was not accepting what that was being sent. The kids today, they're in this TikTokification world now, which is a whole other thing. You got to get them that message quick.
Yep.
And it better be on point with what they're interested in, or else you lost them. The super intelligent kid like you are should not be being taught at the same speed as a kid who's developmentally behind. And we were all in one room together.
But that's the thing. It wasn't even super intelligence then. They're putting me in, all these classes for like beginner, and they're holding me back.
Right, but they were misdiagnosing you.
Yes. So to learn those skills in a later point, like, listen, I'm going to be honest. I read into those things on TikTok or whatever. It's like everybody has this, everyone has that. It's easy to diagnose yourself, but when you relate it to, well, how do I make this better? And you start to figure out how to retain and how to learn and then again, appreciating a superpower, a hyper focus, or whatever. You have to look at it as a superpower, and it's your perspective that'll change it. How much have you accomplished that other people may have not?
Well, it only because I am that way.
Yep.
I'm not easily distracted once I am interested.
Yeah.
Once I got focused on the cake world, there was
nothing else.
No, I'm going to do this and I'm going to figure it out. I had no idea how I was going to do it. I kept thinking about this podcast, right? What happened was, so I hold this journal, right? And I'll refer to it periodically through episodes. There's 2 pages in here from 2012. I'm 2 years into the cake thing. I'm missing mortgage payment. Like, I'm putting my family in like financial ruin. And there's 2 pages in here where I actually write, I'm done. I can't fucking do this anymore. The universe is sending me signals all day long telling me, this ain't it, bro. Do something else. And at the end of the 2 pages I write, even if they sent me a sign that this is what I'm supposed to do, I probably wouldn't even recognize it at this point because it's horrible. I'm in the middle of a shitstorm. And I go back and I read those 2 pages all the time where I actually quit. And then I kept thinking to myself, this is the day I almost quit, And it was, maybe I'm going to write a book. Maybe I'll write and then I started thinking about podcasts, right? I said, this is kind of a cool concept because it could be you with your grandfather's story, an athlete, a musician, a housewife. I've had on a woman with a heart transplant. Like it translates to all of us.
It does. It's so
and
relatable.
Then after getting this cake thing, doing it, the same people, not the actual part, but the same type of people who told me, you can't have a cake business. You never made a cake before. You're in your 40s. These were the same humans that would go, you're going to start a podcast? There's a million podcasts. Nobody's going to watch your podcast. And I said, here's the reason why I'm going to do it. I don't care if anybody watches it.
This is something fulfilling
I'm going to do
right?
it. And if it resonates, you know what? People are going to watch it.
Yeah.
And if it's authentic, and if I reach out to the people I think are interesting,
Yeah.
like you, because I want to sit with you. I think it will resonate. I don't care how many people would it take to tell you, Jackie, you're never going to get your grandfather out of prison. Are you going to stop?
No, and
No, you
that,
don't give a
yeah,
fuck.
and that's the thing. I mean, with every no
But
and
think about how many
everything that
people
happens.
have given up.
But listen, you get to that point where you're like, what am I doing? I mean, for this situation, I already said it. When I got involved, my uncle was fighting for many years, and, the family gets tired after a certain time, and the world changes a little bit. For me, I wasn't comfortable going on a podcast or anything, and I just said, how do you get your voice out today? How do you get people to hear your story? This is the way of the world right now, right? So I started going on podcasts, and that would open other doors. Okay. And I would pray every day. I'm very spiritual that way. And I'd be like, God, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know what fight is ahead of me or whatever. Please open every door and just help me get to where I have to be. That's best for my future and the outcome I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
If, he's intended to stay there forever, fine. Whatever your purpose is, please just lead me in that direction. And as I uncovered everything in my heart, I don't care. Like I said, if he, God forbid, died tomorrow, what they did was wrong. I'm not going to let it rest because there are millions of other people that are affected. 1 in 4 people are infected by incarceration. There's hundreds of thousands of men and women in prison that don't belong there.
Yeah, I follow this guy, Josh Dubin. Do you know who Josh Dubin is? He's the Innocence Project.
Yes.
And he takes on all these cases. I listen to him all the time. I listen to him on podcasts. Real interesting guy, and a lot of really interesting stories that he gets people out. I feel organizations like that would be very hesitant to get involved in getting somebody who was convicted on RICO, organized crime.
Everybody is.
It's a very sticky thing to associate yourself with.
Exactly. Everybody is.
Yeah.
However, they let tons of other people out, people that were guilty of committing physical crimes, of murder and stuff like that. You have people that harm children that they let out of prison. It's just a matter of having the right judge, showing compassion. I mean, listen to me. Everybody who has an opinion, and I get it all the time, I'll have people write comments like, well, if you do a crime, you deserve to rot in jail and blah, 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 blah. Have you ever spent a day in prison? Because I promise you, even if somebody made a bad choice once when they were young, you put them away 6 months, a year, 10 years away from their family, a lot of these people are changed. A lot of these people never want to make a mistake again. A lot of these people want to do good. And most people that come out of prisons do get into reform or do look to help other people. And I think they've learned a lesson. And I feel like we should show more compassion and sympathy because everybody's a judge until it happens to them. Okay? And there are good people that are in prison, and there are people that deserve second chances. Okay? And after 35 years that's a life sentence. So in my grandfather's case, yes, but I'm also speaking for everybody else out there. And I meet all walks of life, and I hear different stories, and there's children being affected, women being affected, and the criminals themselves. A lot of times they do not deserve the sentence they were given. And as people, do we not show sympathy? I mean, these people could get cheated on, beat up, forgive their spouse, do this. They show compassion when they want to, but then they're so judgmental when it's something else.
How often does it get, does he come up and they have to rule on him? Is there?
No, so there's no situation like that.
It doesn't. He doesn't come up for.
No,
he's in there, and
he's
at this
in there.
point,
There's no come up. So you file for appeals. And immediately it's just no. The judge said this. Now, in the case of the judge that passed away, that ruled on my grandfather's case, he said that they should show no compassion for my grandfather whatsoever. In the same situation, he was the judge ruling on Greg Scarpa Sr. when he was, came to the judge and wanted to get one located in the Northeastern District, which they granted him that after he murdered, hundreds of people, and they knew about maybe 14 murders that he committed during the time of this whole so-called war. Okay. They want to blame my grandfather, saying he started it. Meanwhile, my grandfather was driving home one day and someone attempted to kill him. That person was working for an informant that was working for the FBI. Who started what? So, it's very frustrating to say the least, but at the same time, this judge said we should show compassion for a cold-blooded killer, but wants to show no compassion for a grandfather that was not a lifelong criminal, that had a perfect record in prison, and that's what we're judging on now. You saw 48 jurors speak on the case. You have 2 federal judges making statements on the case and the corruption. You have over 24 men acquitted based on the evidence of the corruption, and we can't show compassion.
What is your dad's opinion right now on this? Like, does he say to you, like, Jackie, let it, you're not, does he get real with you and tell you?
No, my father is a man of faith too, and my father been through it. My father received a miracle. He was facing 4 life sentences. My father, to me, is the strongest man in the world because him and my uncle were facing the sentence. Now, you have to understand this. My grandfather just got 3 life sentences plus 80 years. Now my father's going to jail. Every other person, okay, that was talking about them or putting them away, folded and crumbled and couldn't serve 1 day in prison. My father went to trial, never told his story, never ratted on anybody, did his time, and faced 4 life sentences, knowing he was walking into that lion's den. Okay? To me, that's strength. You want to talk about people that say they're this and that and gangsters and this. We don't talk like that in my house. I look at my father and I'm like, that's a man. That's a man with dignity, respect, and, is about family values. And for him, he sees what I'm doing and he respects it. He knows he raised me that way. And he knows that I'm going to fight till the last breath for him, for my grandfather, for anybody else, and for families that are going through this, because that might be my purpose. You never know what it is. And when it hits you, that might be the reason I'm here.
Any of the other siblings, as focused as you are on it?
For them, my family is all very passionate about it, right? I have the support of all my cousins, my siblings. Do they want to go on a podcast and talk about it or whatever? I think I kind of took the role.
That's
I volunteered, I'll do it. They have their families. I'm the only one of my siblings that doesn't have children. Yeah, I have a business, but I have more time that I could focus on it. So I volunteered myself. I'll do it, and that's fine. But they're all on board with me. My cousins, same thing.
You as a kid, I want to get a little feel for you for those years where your dad wasn't around. You were on Long Island that whole time?
Yeah.
Your dad wasn't
Well, for
around.
the most part. I moved to Brooklyn, when I was around 16. I left school and moved to Brooklyn.
Your whole family?
No, just me.
You went?
Yeah.
And who?
I went to live with an aunt and my 2 cousins.
Why? Was Long Island getting...
I was having behavioral issues in school. I didn't want to go. My mom couldn't really put up with me. I was just cutting class and not showing up, and it would create tension at home for my mother, so I just picked up and kind of left.
Got it.
And then I came back. But, for a little period I did leave.
Both parents still alive?
Yes.
Together?
Yes.
They live out of state?
Yes.
Your dad was not allowed to come back to New York?
He was not. So with his plea, they gave him the 10-year sentence, and then they gave him 11 years banishment from New York. He wasn't allowed to come back.
You were how old when he got out?
19.
Did you relocate to where they were going to be, or no?
No,
You stayed
I never
here?
did. So at that point, 19, I was kind of like, I'm not leaving New York. I'm not going to start over in Florida somewhere. I had my life kind of, not that I was ever situated, but, I wanted to be in New York. I had friends. I was, So for me, I actually came home when my dad was coming home, okay? And they gave him a month to wrap up the house, our childhood home, and relocate. So my dad came home for a short period of time.
How old was he when he got out? Do you remember how old he was?
I don't know exactly
Around.
his number. So he was probably 33, 43.
Mid-40s.
Yeah.
He got out of mid-40s. All right. And did any of the siblings relocate with them?
Yes. So the younger siblings went with him. Me and my sister stayed behind.
Gotcha.
So my sister went to live with my grandmother, and I was doing my own thing too.
At what point does the troublesome Jackie O start to now figure it out and become
Well,
more composed?
It's kind of messed up because I behaviorally was acting up, and then it got to the point where I was.
Did it ever get you into real trouble?
Yes. So it was crazy, the timing, because my dad just got home, and I end up one day, I had a really bad temper. I didn't know that had to do with the ADHD.
Temper, like physical fighting?
I would,
or
you know what,
temper?
I couldn't take certain things, and I would get to the point of like a rage because I didn't understand. So, and I understand it now. I'm the most mild-tempered person.
I would have to attest to that.
Yeah, and everybody I know is like, really? Like you? But I couldn't deal with certain pressures. I didn't understand what I was dealing with. As a kid, I was very depressed to the point of like I wanted to end my own life when I was 10.
Right.
And that's like a scary thought. I think about it.
Ever have any issues with substance, anything, drinking, drugs, or anything?
Never, and this is where my anxiety came into play. I was so afraid of throwing up and not feeling like myself that I never drank.
Did you ever have a violent did
No.
it stem from something?
No, I'll tell you the truth. It just happened to be like during the time of what I would feel, I would get nauseous and worked up, and I would relate the feeling of like the gagging and the nausea to the panic attack that I was having. So I thought that was like losing control. So the thought of it, the feel of it, I was deathly afraid of it. And it has a name. It's emetophobia. I just couldn't understand it. Now I have it in control. Like, if you even said the word throw up, I'd be like,
My daughter had it as a kid, my oldest.
yeah.
We would go eat in Northport at a place called the Ritz on the water.
Yeah.
And we would have to sit outside and eat. And she would play across the street. She wouldn't sit she was deathly afraid to eat in a restaurant because she thought.
She would get food poisoning.
She thought she was going to throw up.
Yeah.
She thought she was going to throw up. If we got takeout, she would eat the same food at home.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but that was for a couple of years.
Yeah, I could relate to it.
She would.
I'm saying it's crazy in the sense that like that's.
Yeah, she would not eat in a restaurant. But the reason I asked is if you had a violent attack.
No.
My daughter, one time we took her to a restaurant and she got sick at the restaurant. And then
stayed
she
with her.
just said, I'm not getting sick in a restaurant ever again.
I remember the first time I had a panic attack, a kid threw up in class, and he ran to the back sink and he threw up, and I immediately got up and I'm like, I'm going to die. I never had this feeling before, like where I was in public and I went to the school bathroom and I'm sitting there sweating and freaking out. And I'm like, oh my God, he threw up. I'm going to die. This is, and it was the weirdest thing. And ever since then, it was just, I kind of related that feeling to losing control and whatever it was. To this day, if I get nauseous and I feel like I'm going to throw up, I'm sweating. I can't throw up. I refuse to throw up. I'll do anything not to throw up.
Yeah.
That still exists. But I don't dwell on it like I used to.
Yeah, and the generation that was raising us were not equipped. They didn't know.
They were, forget it. You're making it up.
Suck it up.
Yeah, I would go in the room to my mom. I'm going to die. I'm going to die.
You're
She's
fine.
like, go die in the other room.
You're
Leave me the
fine.
fuck alone.
I remember a Christmas Eve. I'm going to tell the story. My mother's going to flip the fuck out. Christmas Eve. We had a screen door I lived in Whitestone. We had a screen door that all you had to do was put your hand on it and it would fly open, right? My cousin Anthony is chasing me. It's Christmas Eve now. Christmas Eve, back then, we had like 60 people in the house.
Weren't those the best days?
It was unbelievable. 60 people. I don't know how we fit in this little 40 by 100
You just
house,
did.
my mom's house in
You
Whitestone.
just did. It was great.
My cousin is chasing me. He's like Andre the Giant at that time. He's like this giant kid. I put my hand on the screen door for it to fly open so I could run. And for whatever reason, the latch for the first time in my life, and I went through the glass.
Oh my God.
So now I have these tiny cuts all over me. It's Christmas Eve. I think to myself, what I must have looked like. And my mother told me, you'll be fine. She was more pissed about this that I broke the glass on the screen door, but she looked at me and she was like, you'll be fine. And I thought about it thinking, how fucked up? But as you get older, I thought about the shit my mother went through when she was younger and had to go through with her fucking parents and crazy father.
It's generational.
She's looking at me like, suck it up. You'll be fine.
But you know what? If you really think about it, and then you compare it to today's world, like I'm like, okay, would I have rather my mom have been like, oh yeah, you'll be okay? Probably. Would it have made my anxiety worse? I don't know. But I'm very independent with a lot of things, and I have to
Yes.
give her that credit
Yeah.
because had they not pushed me to do things on
Raise
my own,
yourself at some
I
point.
mean, I was on my own. I was working since I'm 14. I've been kind of on my own since like 16.
Yeah, the pendulum, we swung it back so
And,
far that our
and
kids.
I just still respect them, love them, and so to me, they did a great job. You
Listen.
know, like I wouldn't change anything.
Me either. I wouldn't change anything either. But I think back, and I know how I would have reacted if I saw my daughter with
Oh,
a
yeah,
1,000 cups all over herself.
Oh, you get over here, you poor
I would
thing.
have flipped out. But I think back about it now. In the house on Christmas Eve, my mother said that. Or I would come in bleeding from my head, and she would put spit on it.
Yeah.
She'd be like, she would rub it with spit, and she'd go, "You're good, go walk
Oh, forget
outside."
it. Yeah, we would run around like crazy children. My sister, one time, a picture frame went through her foot, and we're like, shit. She didn't even cry. The picture frame went through her foot, like through her foot. And we're sitting there going, damn, we're going to get in trouble because you're going to need to get stitches. And
Don't
she's
say
like
anything.
hopping up the stairs, like trying to figure it out. You know, you were
What do you
afraid to get
think
in
now?
trouble.
You have how many nieces and nephews?
Now I have 6. 6 and 1 on the way.
So when you see them, do you mentally go, "You bastards would have never lasted 3 seconds in this"?
You know what? I make jokes about it all the
Yeah.
time because, like, my niece, if she's misbehaving, to me, I find humor in it. They say the craziest shit. They're like, and I enjoy every minute of it, you know? And when they're misbehaving, sometimes, like, I laugh, and my sister's like, Mom would have beat the shit out of me. I don't even touch these kids. And I tell them, I make a joke out of it. I'm like, Granby would have had me tossed all over the place. And they just laugh like, no way, But, it is what it is. It's a different world.
I feel very fortunate that we grew up with no cell phone, no internet.
It was a good time. You had to go look for your friends out in the street.
Yeah.
It was like a scavenger hunt.
Imagine now being out and people had cell phones taking video. Imagine if people were taking video.
First of all, I probably would have been arrested.
I mean, there's no doubt. Imagine the videos that would exist in your friend's Instagram's page.
No, we would have been in so much trouble.
It would have been incredible.
Part of the fun was just being, kids get into like mischief when they're younger. Things happen and they make great stories when you get older. Nobody was really hurt,
Thank God.
Yeah. And in today's world, it's like everything, you get into a argument with someone at a counter, it's on YouTube, like, really? What's going on? Like,
it's crazy. I have to look at the positive side of the social media because I built a whole career on it. It's good
and it's bad.
If you
You're right.
focus on the positive end of it, you could do some incredible things with it. If you focus on the bullshit and you watch all the fucked up videos, the political shit, the guy getting hit by the car.
Oh, yeah, you can't feed.
And they're just going to keep feeding it
But
to
you know what the beautiful thing is? The algorithm,
Yeah.
right? So I could go on my social media and I'm seeing all things that relate to my life. I like positive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing my friends doing things. I like seeing growth and, business opportunities. And my algorithm's not filled with that shit,
Yeah, but there are people that.
Oh, there is.
And then they complain about
But
it.
then they go down that rabbit hole. So yeah, it's you have to. I know I'm a victim of it. If I go down a negative rabbit hole, it's sucking me down. You got to make sure to try to fight the temptation to go.
You wonder who is the person leaving the negative comment on a video on a person they don't know.
This is my
Who
biggest.
is this person?
This is my
And they
biggest
say
thing.
they say some really hurtful
Don,
shit.
let me tell you something. The reason why I'm sitting in this chair and not in that chair, one thing, I was born with a parallelized side of my face, right?
So we will address it
Yeah,
now. I
so-
wasn't going to say anything.
No.
I'm in an opposite chair from where I usually sit, and Jackie asked me if we could switch.
Yeah, and it's not even that I'm self-conscious about it. It's just, I guess people seem to have a problem. They'll blame, I'm in the beauty industry. They'll be like, oh, you ruined your face with surgery.
Explain why you wanted to switch seats.
So they'll say, oh, it's because of surgery or whatever. I have one side of my mouth that since I'm younger, okay, it's parallel. It's parallel, like you say.
It's definitely not parallel.
It's not parallel.
It's the opposite of parallel.
So I look like Sylvester Stallone a little bit. And it's since I'm a kid. It's just been that way, okay? And sometimes I'll do Botox on this side to like relax
Balance it.
to kind of balance it a little. It doesn't always take, it's, whatever it is. So I will go on social media with a podcast, and there's people on the internet that start writing to me and saying, you destroyed your face. You're crooked. You're this, you're that. And listen, do I read them? Does it hurt my feelings? No, I'm going to be honest. I read them and I'm like, click, and I look and I'm like, this guy, unless it's like, someone that's a supermodel on the other end, like you're literally taking the time out of your day to click on someone's post, get your little keyboard out and write, you are crooked, you look stupid, you're ugly, you're a plastic surgery nightmare, or this, that, whatever. What kind of person are you? That's one. Okay, you have the time to do that. Get a fucking job or a hobby. Okay, I tell them, go donate time to charity work or something. Do something useful. Go rescue an animal. Do something.
I feel bad when I read it that
you know what?
I would think to myself, what would it take for me to leave a comment on somebody's page like that?
I
feel bad. I don't even know if they're real. Are they just rage baiting? Are they trying to just get you
They are real.
to interact?
And every once in a while, I'll click. I look through their photos, and I'm like,
well, I have to say, some of the highlights for me in the Jackie O story were the dating website reviews where you would go on and do a TikTok and bring up the pages, and you would be like a detective. You would find random things in the background in the guy's bedroom. You'd find.
And listen, it's not bullying. I'm covering the person's face, but to me, it's helping people, right?
Well, you were giving them how to fix their dating
putting
profile.
Something out there. And I'm letting you know how people are going to receive it. Okay.
You have a certain you certainly have a certain comedic timing because those videos were classic.
Thank you.
Did you ever think to yourself to lean really hard into that? Like when you were getting the reaction?
People were reporting me for bullying, so I didn't want to get my page taken down, so I just stopped. I was like, okay, it's getting old. People are so sensitive today.
Were they flagging you for bullying?
Yes, they were reporting me on TikTok so that I couldn't monetize and that I couldn't. And I'm like, really?
Well, it was classic, and you should bring them back. You should repost them because some of the stuff you would find.
Yeah, I had my mini mic. I would do my videos.
Yes, the mini mic.
You know what? Now everybody has a mini mic, and I see a lot of people doing, kind of like those type of, things. So I don't know. I don't know if that's in my space now.
Well, it's definitely in your it's in your space because you were perfect at it.
Thank you.
You were really good at it.
Now I might just do it to the trolls, the people who write negative comments on people's posts. I might just start finding them and calling them out for their pages.
Yeah, so
that might be something I could find passion in.
Most people do know, but I have a custom cake shop, and I find it really hard. And everybody should be able to make a living. Everybody should be, if whatever your hustle is, if you're hustling hard at it, you deserve to make a living. Some people have a problem with these food influencers, right? They're taking advantage of the business owner. They come in, they make a little video, a reel, and they charge you $500. You don't have to pay them.
You don't.
You don't have to hire that. You don't have to take out an ad on the radio. You don't have to take out an ad and clip and save. You don't have to do anything. But they're offering a service. And if you decide to use them to promote your business, that's up to you. Is it the best spent money? Probably not, because they don't have a lot of followers or whatever it is. What gets me is the motherfucker that makes the reel and he bashes the restaurant. The damage you're doing to somebody's establishment by saying the pizza flops or the crust is not cooked enough, or
there's certain people that like that though.
No, I know.
And that's the thing too. Food is such a preference.
But there are people that will decide not to go
based on that
and use that restaurant because the Yelp review. If you're bashing a restaurant and you're real, you gotta put that to good use. Go give a great review.
And guess what? If you go to a place and you don't like their food, say, I'm not going to...
Just don't go back.
I'm not going to post it.
Just don't go back.
I'm not going to do...
Right.
Like, this was so terrible that I'm not going to post anything.
I get it. People are going to come back at me and say, then how do we know the good review is authentic if there's never a bad review? If every review is always good...
But if you don't like it, you don't have to post it so that you know... Listen, I was in the beauty space for like 20 years now. The one thing I wasn't going to do, even when I was in sales or whatever, is going to sell something to somebody they didn't need. And if my boss didn't like it because, say, my numbers, if there was a machine I didn't like or a treatment, I do it in my own business.
Right.
Somebody comes in, they want lip filler or something, they're not a candidate, I tell them to go home. Because I can't sleep at night if I'm going to give somebody the wrong thing. So if it's something where they're going in for food and they don't like it or they don't, the negativity to me is just, that's contagious too.
Well, the algorithm manipulates you
Of
because
course.
your negative review gets 10 times the attention that your positive review got. So now you get the dopamine hit. You go, oh, I said some shit and I gave a negative review and I got 20,000 views. All these positive ones I do get 4,000, 3,000 views. So they get high on it.
Yeah.
And they figure, oh, I'm going to be that guy.
I mean, certain negative things, like I want honest feedback too. I own a business. I want someone to say, hey, this person did this wrong.
But
or
send
this
you
isn't right.
Send you an email.
Send me a private message. I'm going to fix it.
There's no doubt.
I'm going to fix it. That type of stuff, fine. But if you're going to publicly bash me without warning, without an opportunity, it's, to me, people put so much time, money, energy into their business. Mm-hmm. It's their livelihood. It's their life. A lot of people are depending on this, so I don't agree with sharing negativity. When people come for you and you want to come back, that's always been my thing.
The problem with a lot of these reviews and the paid ones, you don't know who's paying them to make that. Like,
is a competitor then paying them to do a negative review?
Yeah, because the pizza game right now, these fucking guys think they're Biggie and Tupac. Like they're beefing on Instagram with each other. You're affecting each other's family. Like you're affecting a guy's business. You want to come on, and I don't have an allegiance to any of the pizza guys on Long Island, New York, whatever. I have my favorite spots, and I don't care if you like it or not. I will
don't go to the popular places. I go to where I like.
The Sicilian slice at King Umberto for me is a perfect slice of pizza. A regular slice at Amore in Flushing, a perfect slice of pizza. If you come on and give me a review and you tell me, I might go, oh, maybe I'll try that place. But these guys now are coming on talking about each other. The owners are talking about each other on Instagram, saying some ridiculous shit. So, and I'm not saying Biggie, Tupac in jest. Like somebody's gonna end up hurt because when you start to affect somebody's business, somebody's gonna get really hurt because these guys think it's make-believe. It's not make-believe.
Sometimes for them, they think it's like, oh, it's going to bring people to come try both places. And, that's like innocent type stuff.
There's nothing wrong with coming on saying you have the best pizza.
Yeah.
But if you come on and say, you start personally attacking a guy at another pizza place, I know who my friends are and the businesses they own. Somebody's going to end up hurt. Yeah. Because you're going to affect, if you really are successful, if you're good at it and you're successful at your message, you're going to affect the guy's business negatively. Now, you're going to be the blame when that guy's not able to make payroll on Friday.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to come for you.
And sometimes they get themselves too deep in those situations.
They think it's make-believe. Yeah. First of all, they've got this false sense of bravado because now Instagram, they think they're some sort of famous. Because they have some following. They think they're a famous person because they got recognized at fucking Trader Joe's. Yeah. Picking out fruit. Somebody recognized them from the video. They come on with this false sense of security. Don't fuck with somebody's livelihood. Ever. Because you're gonna talk about the wrong cat one day. Yeah. And he's gonna come for you because you shit talked his pizza. And it won't be the right decision. The guy should probably have better self-control, but
yeah, it's like poking the bear.
You're gonna poke the fucking bear. Yeah. If somebody kept coming on and say Jackie O's place, they're fucked up, their injections are fucked up, they give you bullshit and
I'd probably just post like all their family members.
Yeah, you'd be good at it.
I'd be like, oh, this one's injections are good. Look at your mom.
You get the small microphone back out.
No, but I'm going to be honest. There's so much competition in my industry too. And you know what? I actually invite people. I have a friend that has the same business as me in a completely different town. We collaborate. Let's just do it together. You have a great injector at this. You have the. It's all about the person's mindset. So if you guys want to be vicious and go for each other, it's probably going to affect both your businesses at the end of the day. It's
not a good look.
It's not a good look. It's not, it's not what we do. But again, if that's what they want to do, it's going to reflect on them. somewhere down the road. One's going to get in trouble, then no one's going to go to that one anyway. And
I guess, or people just like
the thing is, if we feed that, it's what you feed. So if you feed into the negative shit,
listen,
and you start going down that road, it's gonna get the bite. The people who are into that negative shit are gonna bite. They're gonna bite. They're into it. You know.
There are fluorescent green Lamborghinis, and there are a flat black Porsche, right? Whoever you are, one of those cars was attractive to you when I said it.
Yep.
You could be the fluorescent green Lamborghini driving down the block. You're going to get crazy attention. I'll be the flat black Porsche every time.
I was going to say, that's what I would pick too.
I'll be the flat black. But there are fluorescent green Lamborghinis driving around Long Island that are attractive to people. God bless you. Just because more eyeballs are on you does not mean you're conducting yourself properly.
Yeah. Or you're something better to look at.
I'll be the flat black Porsche. You be the fluorescent green Lamborghini.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. You could use in whatever year, Vanilla Ice sold more rap albums than any rap act in the world.
Yeah.
More eyes were on Vanilla Ice.
Yep.
Was he the most gifted rapper? No. Did he make the best album? No. He was a spectacle.
Yeah. Was it a lifelong career?
Right. But just because more eyes get put on you does not mean you're conducting yourself properly.
Yep.
I'll be Tribe Called Quest or De La Soul or all these other acts. Like I lean towards that. But the problem is the fluorescent green Lamborghini has become the prototype. Be that. Get the most likes, the most comments, the most views, the most. I'm not for sale that way.
I'm so with you.
I'm not interested in. I'll be me, and I'll get the views I get.
Yes.
You could be you, however you want to conduct yourself. Get the views you get, and because with your message and what you're trying to accomplish, you could be acting the fool out here. You could be hooting, and you could go about it in a way where you'd get a lot more attention, but it would not be. It's not true to who you are.
Yeah. You
could be shit. You could be really out attacking people, and it's not true. Your message would come across unauthentically, and people wouldn't be interested in it.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And a lot of people are like, why don't you call out some of the rats? And why don't you call... I'm going to be honest. They don't affect me. Mm-hmm. I don't even pay attention.
And it's not going to help your cause.
A lot of them lie and perjure and whatever. And actually, it does help my cause. The fact that someone is giving them a platform, I do listen. And a lot of times they get information, things that maybe I didn't know before. And then I could look into it. And it actually helps me figure out some of the stuff. Some of it's bullshit lies. And you hear a tale and I'm like, that's so funny. That guy wasn't even there. Or this one wasn't. He doesn't even know these people. Or this is where he's getting his story from. Or that's this narrative. And I'm mature enough to brush it off and not care. Do I want to go for these people? No, they have nothing else going for them in the world. And if they can make a little paycheck by telling their story or getting some views, or God bless. Mm-hmm. I don't care. It doesn't change my beliefs. At the end of the day, do I agree with what they did? No, obviously not. It's not going to change anything. Yes, I have stuff that I sell on my grandfather's site. Some of it says Rico the Feds.
Say the website in case anybody wants to go.
FreeLittleVic.com. And I have on the bottom a shop. There's Free Little Vic shirts. I have Rico the Feds. I have my little fanny pack. Fuck these rats. It's basically not saying, the message is like, what they have done, I don't give a fuck. Fuck these rats, okay? It's not like I'm dwelling on it. I'm paying attention. I'm thinking like my whole life is based around it. Let them do what they do. I don't care. Mm-hmm. My mission is, and the real enemy to me is the government, because they're the ones that are supposed to do right. These people I knew were shit from day one. They were the most, morally corrupt people on the planet, out killing people and doing whatever. So I'm not paying attention to them. What I'm worried about is our own government, who's supposed to protect us, who's supposed to serve justice, that's supposed to do what's right, have bad people that are involved. Not saying all, believe me. I'm also all about our country. The other side of my family fought in our wars. Even my grandfather's side, his ancestors, they came here. They were all about the U.S. and making a better life. Don't get my message wrong at all. I have police officers that were, in my family that died on duty. Okay, my message is not that, but there are good and bad in all walks of life. And there were some bad people in government at that time.
Have you put any of this on paper? Have you tried to make a book? Anything? Have you put all your thoughts down?
No, I have not written a book. I
thought?
am working on a documentary, however.
Yeah, because you should. You're cut out for it. You're cut out for that.
Thank you.
The book, yeah. You have. There's a certain calm cadence to your voice. You're very good in this situation, a documentary, a book, whatever, screenplay. You should lean into it. And if anybody's watching this,
Thank you.
who's in the world of writing with a book with somebody, I mean, reach out to Jackie through social media. I think your story would resonate. I think it would make a great movie because there's so many. It's the kid, it's you guys, it's your grandfather, it's your father. There's so many storylines involved. It's the government aspect. I think it would be a great story. I keep thinking as you're talking, you mentioned it. Do you have any episodes now still at this age? Do you have the panic attacks? Do they come back at all for you?
Oh yeah, it's always going to be a challenge. For me, I tried going without, like, say, medicating on a flight, and I did good for like 3 flights in a row. And I have my little service animal that helps keep me calm. And I was doing fine. And then all of a sudden, coming back from Florida one day, I all of a sudden start sweating, going to an episode, and I'm like, it feels like such a setback. I'm like, here I am, and freaking out, and it doesn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like sweating, had to hand a stranger my dog.
Do you take anything every day to?
No. So for me, I like full control. I don't take medication, and that's not to say it's not for certain people, whatever. For me, it never worked out. I've tried when I was younger. It just doesn't sit well with, like, my chemistry or whatever. However, if I fly or something, I will take a small piece of medication just to ensure that I won't have a panic attack.
Do you find anything besides flying triggers panic attacks for you?
Oh yeah, to this day, if I eat too much food and my stomach feels full, I'm like, am I going to throw up? Am I sick? Am I? And now I go,
you're a fucking gavone.
Yeah, and
I mean, I've seen your videos eating. I mean,
yeah.
the food, you're not afraid to eat.
I love food.
Yeah.
But if I do get to that point,
if
and
you overeat.
If I overeat and I'm like, I don't really feel good, it could trigger that response. And there's a few times that I'm like, thank God, I'm like, I don't want to jinx it, but thank God now I've worked through different things. There's like a vagus nerve trick. I rub here. Within minutes, I could usually stop a panic attack. Again, it comes in cycles. I could go 3 years without having one, and then I could have one every single week for 6 months.
Yeah.
But I'm learning myself how I operate and tricks that work for me, and it's always going to be a challenge.
They used to be a regular occurrence for me too when I was building the business. They were paralyzing, and you think you don't have them anymore, and then
it hits.
Then that motherfucker will creep up at 4 in the morning.
It just gets you,
and
you feel defeated. You're like, I thought I was in the clear, like it was over.
I've felt them coming on, and I've developed some tools where I could keep it at bay. I know what triggers it, and if you don't mind me asking, what is your are you very religious? Your relationship with God? Do you think?
So I was born. My grandmother was like super religious,
right.
Catholic family. Roman Catholic.
You didn't go to.
I didn't go to Catholic school.
You grew up in the 5 towns. You definitely didn't go to Catholic
Well,
school.
I did go to Catholic school, like after religious
right.
instructions. Whatever. My family very much has a lot of faith. I think during my anxiety and my battles with life, sometimes I got closer to God and further away. And, I have to say, I've seen so many miracles in my life that if I didn't believe and have faith and know that, like, he's the one opening doors and getting me through things. I mean, if I look at myself as a child, as the person that was in the lowest classes and could never achieve anything, and I believed what was told to me, I would have never accomplished anything. Fast forward, I think if the young version of me that felt like the dumbest person in the room saw that I've opened businesses and accomplished a lot of things that I have and gotten to many rooms where I never thought I belonged, I would think a lot differently. And I owe that to God. I do believe that every day. I mean, I ask for things and it happens. I believe in things and they happen. Like,
What point did that come back for you? Like, was it later on in life, or did you felt
I
that
would
all the
say
way?
as a child, I was very religious.
Yeah.
Through my hardest times, I had all the saints set up under my bunk bed, and I would go behind and be like,
All right.
please bring my grandfather home. You could have me. I used to like try to sacrifice myself to my saints. I didn't know how it
Yeah.
worked.
It didn't work.
It didn't work, and I didn't understand how it worked. And then when I took it on again, I started with, giving things up for Lent and asking for small favors. And when they happen, I'm like, oh, God's giving me what I want. Let me keep up with this. And then I would start doing my rosary again and asking for things. And it just puts me in a good state. I think if that's my form of meditation is prayer. So some people want to go out and just close their eyes and think of things. And for me, saying a rosary is a meditation for me, puts me in a good headspace. And, I think that's very important for me. It came back.
I started using, my relationship, I went to Catholic high school, all boys Catholic high school, right? But I had really my relationship with the church I really had no.
Well, it's a good way to make you turned off by it, too, because it's your teachers, your disciplinary.
Just didn't. Also, again, the Catholic Church, for me, I couldn't differentiate any mass. Like, it sounded every week like I was going, and I was just hearing the same thing. But what I realized, first thing was I had 2 daughters, right? I had 2 kids, and I've witnessed them navigate their way through the planet and become such incredible citizens of the compassionate. And if you look at your own kids and wonder if there's like a God, or that was the first thing where I started to really feel a connection again. And once I realized I don't have to go to church to have a relationship with God. Like, I thought, I used to think if I miss church,
Yeah.
your relationship with God is damaged.
For me, it was like sacrifice. Like, I have to sit through the mass because I want him to do things
To show
for me.
that you're a good
But I'll be honest,
Christian.
as soon as I was doing my rosaries and I'm like, okay, I'm doing a rosary or whatever, let me try to go to church. And I went to one church in my neighborhood and I'm like, this is the same song and dance and I'm not retaining anything.
You could watch it and go, this is 1984, 1997.
Exactly.
It's just the same.
But what's crazy for me, I moved to Westchester and, I was going to the same church in Long Island for many years. My mom would make us go or whatever. I found a church by accident. I just looked, I was Googling churches near me. I went to one, whatever, same stuff. And then I saw St. Anthony and I said, oh, well, my family has this close tie to St. Anthony.
I've prayed to him my whole life.
Yeah,
for
let me go
lost
check
keys.
it out. Yeah, this is my guy. I went and there's a priest there that he speaks to you. It's like he's not just reading from a book. They
Younger
skip out
guy,
the
what?
he's not old.
Right.
He speaks to you and he walks around with the microphone and he's funny.
Yeah.
And they skip out the songs and everything and it's in Harrison and I just loved him. Like,
You go regularly?
Now I try to go every Sunday. There's a 6 p.m.
Good
mass.
for you, man.
And to me, I feel good. I'm receiving the host and I'm getting his message and I try to go whenever I can. And I'm like, this is such a different experience. And I don't know if it's because my rosaries open the door for me to hear the message differently or if it's just this priest. To me, I get what I want out of it.
Yeah.
I feel fulfilled. I get the message. But you're right. The faith, I could watch a YouTube video and get a message. I could sit and pray and hear a thought and gives me a message.
It's the same as I said about being in 4th, 5th, 6th grade. What they were selling, I wasn't interested in.
Yep.
This guy, what he's selling, you're interested.
Yeah.
The way he's delivering this product to you.
He's speaking my language.
It's whatever it is that's connecting with you. What I really found is helping me. I don't know if this makes sense to you or anybody listening. The 5 or 6 seconds from my nightstand at night to my head on the pillow, that's 6 or 7 seconds. The negativity that would find me on my way from standing upright to laying. No, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, like
it would wait. Like, it knew he's at his most vulnerable point. He's getting ready to lay down and go to sleep. I'm going to bring 2006 back and we're going to talk for a minute. Like, and I'm not kidding.
That happens to me in my sleep.
My heart, and it would find me. And now my head hits the pillow and all I could think about is whatever this thought brought back to me. So, I started when my head hits the pillow every night. I do it now every night. I talk directly to God and I thank him for 4 or 5, 6 things that happened that day, that week, whatever. And I'll sit and I will battle. I won't let the other thing in. And I will sit and I'll go, thank you, God, for the week I had at work. Thank you for my kids. Thank you for whatever. My Knicks winning. Thank you for whatever. And I'll do it. And it will almost put me right to that point where
I gotta try that.
I'm ready to sleep. No,
I used to do that in the morning. I would wake up to start my day and just be thankful for all these things.
The problem for me with that is I have too much day ahead of me where it's going to fucking find me.
But you know, it's funny. I would do that and then you lose that or whatever. And I noticed that's why I really want to try what you're doing. I would wake up in the middle, like 3 o'clock in the morning, thinking about all the shit, the problems I have and what I have to accomplish. And I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Go to sleep. And you can't shut your brain off at that point. So I'm going to switch to the nighttime. I like that trick.
I do it every night now. And I wait. As soon as I lay down, I'll go, thank you, God, for today. Thank you for the business. Thank you for this. My daughters, for whatever I got going on. And I'll just run through a checklist. And it's almost like the movie where, you know, they would stop, you know, focus and you're getting sleepy. And it almost calms me down and it doesn't allow for
it pushes
all
the
that
negativity
out.
You gotta like build that barrier.
Yeah, because it finds me for me, it finds me when I'm at my weakest, most vulnerable, tired, and then I start to think about. I will break down conversations I had years ago with people, and
you're like, where is this going? Like, where is this going to take me?
Why are you thinking about the dumb shit you said in some meeting where you're still embarrassed by it? Yeah, but I have no doubt what is happening for me in my life and my family's life and people I've met, things that have happened for me. If I'm going to be arrogant enough to think this is all my doing, I worked so hard at this and I'm responsible for exactly where I am. This is me. Fuck you.
You know what? That's such a
you
good
worked
point.
hard. I'm working. We're all fucking working hard.
You know what?
Everybody's
We wake up every day and we kind of move, right? The real truth is, you know, and I say it all the time, lead me, open doors. But I go about my day and sometimes things find me. Mm-hmm. Okay? Somebody might inbox me or I might get an email asking for a request of something or somebody might have saw me somewhere and wants to do something. Or a lot of times opportunity comes to me. If you're not thinking that's God, I mean, what is that?
Well, you could think you personally can think whatever you want, whatever it is.
I'm just saying, if I don't
at this
think
point
that's
in my life,
something divine coming to you,
knowing,
blessings.
Yeah, for me knowing somebody's looking out and things have happened for me because I've conducted myself properly. I try to treat people with respect, kindness, compassion, help people when they need it. Listen, me and you have had some talks where you're going through, like, you'd be like, this business is a motherfucker. I don't even know what, like,
oh yeah,
we've had, being a small business owner right now, it's
tough.
It's like being in a dumpster on fire sometimes,
it's tough. And you either have the people that sit there and go, everything's great, look at me, everything's wonderful. Or you have the people that are real and you're like, dude, this is getting crazy. Yes, I've been there. And you could lean on each other at least and get advice and, stick it through and this, that. We're all juggling so many things, especially with children. You have to worry about them on top of your business, on top of, whatever you have going on. And, same thing for me. We could look at it like a negative. I could look at what I'm dealing with my grandfather and be like, oh, this is such a struggle. Or I could say, it could have been so much worse. Yeah, it could have.
Or it could
anything could be worse.
Or it could lead to Jackie O, the best-selling book on the New York Times.
Amen.
No, I'm not kidding. Your grandfather's thing could end up being a thing that he blessed you. The worst possible thing could end up being a blessing for you. the job you didn't get could end up being a blessing because now you were
Exactly.
unemployed and you found this other,
Or the other people you could help.
the other thing.
Or the
man.
other
Yeah,
people
it can
that,
end up being a blessing.
yeah.
Going forward, are you just winging it day by day? Do you have a plan on this path with your grandfather's thing, or you're
So
just figuring it out as
they
you're going
just
along?
recently denied another compassionate release. So, of course, I'm not giving up.
Right.
I do have his clemency pending, and I'm trying to go that direction. I'm going to file for another compassionate release. I'm just going to keep fighting.
Right.
I'm just going to keep going.
Which is what you should do. Tell me a little bit about. I noticed you are going to be performing in a show.
Yes.
Just give me a little background. What's the
So,
deal with it?
a very good friend of mine came to me, and well, sisters. I'm friends with both of them. One wrote the play, and the other one is the lead actress. So
say
it's
who the
Renee and
sisters
Jennifer
are.
Graziano,
Right, and
who,
people
the
would know
creator
them.
of Mob Wives, and Renee was on Mob Wives, the star of Mob Wives, and you know, they were writing this play.
You two connected. How did you guys connect?
You know what? Basically, telling my story. So, because of my grandfather and being on social media, and it was actually a video I put up of my niece that Renee actually stumbled across my page. The Christmas video, my niece is like threatening Santa or something.
Yes, great
Renee
video.
found it. It went viral. She reached out to me and kind of, we saw, how we were connected in similar background. And even though we didn't know each other, we kind of united that way. And being that we had so many similarities, we developed a friendship. And her sister was writing this play. And, at first, being part of the Italian American Civil Rights League and all these things, you're like, we're trying to get away from these stereotypes and whatever. But
Let me go hang out with the mob wives.
yeah, let me hang out with the mob wives and let me, but that was real. That was reality TV. It was real. She was really dealing with incarceration and her ex-husband ratting and all these things. And I could relate to that being, even though our situations are different, I could relate to what she was going through. And for me, I don't shut the door on anybody's situation. We go through things in life and you may experience this or that. I look at our similarities and, how could we lean on each other? And we built a very beautiful friendship. Jennifer wrote this play. She's another, it's funny, they're night and day, so different. She wrote this play. We're great friends too. And I have so much respect for her. And they asked me to be a part of it. And it was almost like a joke at first. Renee's like, I just need you as my sidekick. Let's do it. And I'm actually her sister-in-law in the play. And it was so funny and so much fun. I went to try and whatever. And
had you done anything like that ever before?
Never before. And we did 3 shows. They sold out 2 weeks before I even decided I was going to be in it. Okay. So before I was even cast, they sold out the play. And here I am the day of, and I'm like, am I fucking insane? I've never done anything like this. I'm going to go in front of a room full of people. I can't public speak. A podcast is different. I'm like, am I insane? And I'm like, I'm either going to have a massive panic attack and like be in the bathroom dry heaving, or it's going to just work out. And I got there, it worked out. It ended up being so much fun. It was like improv mixed with, and I'm like, this took me out of my comfort zone. And I think this will help me with other skills. If I do want to public speak on my grandfather or reform or anything, it's like helping me break the ice.
Are there more shows coming?
Yes.
Right,
so there's a lot more shows coming.
Awesome.
It's marriedbythemob.com, and you can see all the shows upcoming.
Perfect.
We have one in Hudson Valley. We're going back to New Jersey, and we're booking a whole bunch of others. So
that's cool.
And we have Rhode Island. It's going to be good.
And you never know who you meet through that.
You never know.
You meet some director, producer, whatever.
You never know. And it's acting. At the end of the day, it's fun. It's all in good fun. And, some of the stereotypes, unfortunately, are real for a reason. That's all walks of life. So if you can't have fun with it and then also, look at the other end of it, then what good are we? You can't be too judgmental. It's a good time.
All right, Jackie, I end every episode the same way. It's the day I almost quit. And, a lot of these podcasts, these business podcasts, 5-year plan, 10-year plan, what's your 18-month, in business, we try and come up with I ask everybody at the end of the episode, what is your 1-day plan? When Jackie O is in the middle of it and you just can't I just got to get to tomorrow. I don't need a 5-year plan sounds like
That's too
me
much for my
flying to Mars.
ADHD.
Yeah, I'm going to fly to Mars before. I need a one. I'm really going through it because people out there are struggling with whatever it is, whatever they're in the middle of: divorce, foreclosure, businesses failing, kids are having a rough time. They need a one-day plan that might just help them get through today, get up tomorrow. Something you use in your toolbox.
So I've definitely been there on more than one occasion. And, you know, you hear a lot of people like reach out to that friend, do this. I isolate. When I'm going through it, I don't even want to talk to anybody. I just want to suffer alone because you feel like it's contagious. If you're in a down mood or you're depressed or whatever, you feel
find
like
that works for you?
what isolation?
Isolate?
I isolate. Okay. I cannot bring somebody into it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's the best advice because some people need somebody to pull them out of it.
A very popular answer with guests I've had is get on the phone and call your closest
Okay.
person.
So for me, you know, yes, people have a closest person. There's times I didn't have a closest person, or there might be people that don't understand my struggle or what I'm going through. For me, I like to sit alone and remember every other time I felt this way and how there was always a light at the end of the tunnel and always a better day and always something to get excited about. And if I were to have the light shut off now, I'm going to lose out on those memories and I'm going to lose out on the tomorrow and the victory and the whatever. And I hold on to that knowing no matter what I'm suffering through, that there's always going to be that next day and that next memory and that next joyous moment and that next victory and the next thing that you're going to be proud of. And that's what I hold on to. And the people that can't reach out to somebody, that's what I encourage you to do. Think of your best memories and think of how if you let go anytime before that, how you wouldn't experience it. Because we do all feel that way at times, our lowest low, and we haven't yet achieved our greatest
Yeah,
high.
I love that answer, and I was not expecting that answer. I'm an only child, so for me, I'm in a very comfortable place by myself in a room for a long. Some people can't do it.
Yeah.
Some people that sounds like hell. You want me to isolate? They can't. The silence is it will
But
break them.
again, different things work for different
Yeah,
people.
so for me, I'm that resonated with me because most people say, get on the phone with your friend, go get a meal, go,
Of
which
course,
works as well. But
it does work if you need to laugh
the
or you need to.
isolation thing, I really appreciate that answer because for me, it works for me all the time. The backpack, the headphones, the book, the go for a hike by myself. That works for me. But I love that answer, Jackie. I hope you enjoyed yourself today.
I had a great time.
This was amazing.
I always have a great time talking to you. We get
Thank
so deep into things, and you know, it's good to be around people with the same kind of mindset and vibe. So
I appreciate you always.
I love that.
You were super supportive of me during COVID
Always.
with the cupcakes, and you would post and never ask for anything in return, which is a very very rare. People always looking for I did this for you. What can you do for me? You were never that. You always just looked to help people that you were friends with. Help your friends out, and I appreciated that. I hope two things. I hope somebody sees this and has an idea you don't even have for yourself yet with your story, with your grandfather's story. Mm-hmm. I think you're meant to tell this story in a really larger way. I have a lot of friends who were documentary people, producers, content creators, authors. I've had a couple on the show. I hope somebody sees it and says, let me reach out to Jackie and try and turn this into something. Because how many more fucking Toy Story 6 and tell a real story? And I really hope for you. And the other thing I hope is when you're standing next to the nightstand tonight and you're getting ready to lay down, you remember what we spoke about. And when you hit the pillow, you thank God for whatever cool happened today or yesterday. I think it will help you. And
I'm gonna use it.
Let me know, like really, because I've been telling a lot of people that this little quick fix really helped me. And I will give credit to the guy. I went to see a guy, David Meltzer. He gave a talk in this entrepreneur group, EO, that I belong to. He said every night before he goes to bed, he talks to God and he thanks him for whatever happened that day. And you hear somebody say that and you're like, all right, you thanked God and you. all the therapy I went to, all the self-help shit I want, that little piece of advice, and hopefully I get to thank David one day. Hopefully I can have him on and thank him. It really has changed me sleeping and my panic attacks at night, and hopefully you use it.
Oh, I absolutely will. I believe that because
Yeah.
I know that, gratitude's important. It shifts your whole mood.
Sometimes the gratitude though
Your
is
focus.
sometimes but that gratitude piece of advice, sometimes you're not giving me the play, like, okay, be grateful.
Well, we're very literal.
You
You got
to tell me what the
No.
go use gratitude, and I go, okay, well, I'm fucking grateful for nothing right now, motherfucker.
Yeah, well,
I'm going
you're
through
right.
it.
But
yeah,
when you in the darkest times and you're going through it and you say,
Yeah.
you know what?
I'm thankful.
I have my health.
How old are your parents?
My parents are like my
They're
dad's 70.
Right, my mom's 83.
Yeah.
And she's sharp as a fucking tack.
Thank God.
She's at Cipollini for lunch. She's at
I love
Saks,
it.
Nordstrom.
I love it.
She's calling me from Bloomingdale's. Do you need... I thank God every day.
So do I.
My mom's 83, sharp as a tack. I still get nervous when the phone rings that she's going to yell at me
Of
about some
course.
bullshit. But it broke it down. He broke it down for me so simply. Just find some things you're grateful for and talk to God about them. My dogs, my parents, my mom, my kids, my wife, my closest friends who I love, this podcast, my cake business. I could go, once you break it down.
Once you go, it's
I
contagious.
could
It's
just
just
start-
like the negative thoughts. Once
if
you
I said to
complain,
you,
yeah. Once we
list the
complain,
shit you're unhappy with. I mean, I could go forever.
Yes.
But I'm happy today. I'm going to thank God that Jackie O showed up today.
And that's part of the thing with the isolation. For me, we all feed each other's negativity. So if I'm shitting to you like, whoa, this problem, and then you're giving me your problems, we just created a whole negative
Yeah, we created an
love
energy.
fest there. It's a hate fest,
Which is
So,
easy.
Yes. So that's part of, that whole thing too. But thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
so grateful for you.
I'm looking forward to the future episode where we sit down again and you can come back and go, that episode,
changed
this is
my
what
life.
happened. Yeah, I hopefully we'll sit down again. But Jackie O, I appreciate you. I love you. I hope somebody out there hears this.
Thank
For
you.
me, I hope somebody sees it and says, I got to go on this guy's podcast.
Yeah.
This was cool. Somebody that would have never watched it, but because of you, because I'm going to tag you in the video, somebody in your world sees it.
Yeah, that could always
That's how it
happen. And you're
works.
the best. This was like such a great time. You're so easy to talk to, and
you.
everybody should want to be here.
I appreciate you.